Hi everybody, I'm Florida Trailblazer, exploring the history and wilderness of Florida. Today I'm out here exploring these beautiful woods in the Green Swamp Wilderness Preserve. Really enjoy coming out here. It's a vast place, many areas to roam, lots of trails to hike, and off the beaten places to go to get away from it all and see some beautiful places. Today I'm walking along the Withlacoochee River. You see it there behind me. Many years ago, there was a lot of logging activity along this river. You had very large and old cypress trees all throughout these areas in the wilderness. Many of them have been logged out, but as you explore along parts of this river, you see a lot of the old cypress stumps and sometimes see the cypress trees still standing. It's been there for a very long time. It's always a treat. Now, the river can get very flooded out throughout different times of the year. Right now it's a little dry, so I'm able to walk back into some of these places where normally I wouldn't be able to get into. And I'm trying to be really observant and as quiet as possible. There's a lot of wildlife in this area. I saw an alligator earlier on the riverbank over there, sunning itself. You see an old cypress stump here. What a great day to be outdoors. Nice fresh air, blue skies, the sun is shining. I'm in the middle of this lush green wilderness. Now, following this trail, it's part of the Florida Trail. And you can hike many miles of this trail in this wilderness preserve. Now, you'll know you're on the Florida Trail when you're hiking through here when you see the orange blazes on the trees, which indicates the Florida Trail. This trail goes throughout the whole state. And in fact, many years ago, one of the trails I used to always hike on when I first started making these videos for everybody was the Florida Trail, and I still do. Just because when you go on the Florida Trail, you can find so many amazing places that you may not have known about before. All throughout Florida. So it's a great trail to experience, and if you've never been in some of the areas in Florida for hiking, look up the Florida Trail. You can learn a lot there. It's a good place to start. You can take many day hikes along the trail, and I guarantee it's not too far from where you're at. So peaceful out here. Exploring off the beaten path, way out here in the wilderness, down here by this river, and just behind me over there across the way is a beautiful alligator sunning itself. Some of the amazing wildlife I'm seeing out here, and I've been watching it for a while. Hiked out of the woods a little bit into this opening, and there are many areas like this in the green swamp as well. A lot of multi-use trails and forest roads where you can get into some very deep areas out here in the wilderness. You truly feel isolated out here. There's nobody around. So quiet. All I can hear are the birds and the wind. So walking this forest road a little bit. Back into this wooded area. You can find a lot of trails and different areas to explore here in the green swamp just by following a lot of these forest roads. I'm miles out here in the wilderness. And I wanted to mention that if you're coming out into these spaces and hiking the trails, exploring the woods, to always ensure that you have a good sense of direction and know where you're going. And always have a way back. It's always important to study the maps ahead of time. Bring a map with you, a GPS, a compass. All these things help you when you're out here in the woods. Even if you know an area and you're really familiar with it and you feel like you can't get lost, you never know what could happen out there on any particular hike. Oftentimes when you're exploring these places, nature has a way of making you curious. It gives you a sense of wonder and you want to see what's around the next bend, down the next trail. At least that's how it is for me. So sometimes you end up going in different places that you may not have planned. And many times I've gone off the trails and into the woods and everything looks the same. It can be easy to lose your sense of direction. As long as you have a GPS, compass, and a way of tracking your hike as well. There are many apps that you can download that work offline. You don't need internet. So if you don't have a GPS, you can even use your phone. And if you're going to do stuff like that, make sure to have a backup battery so you can charge that up. Because when you're using those kind of apps on your phone, it's always draining your battery as well. So you don't want your battery to go out on your phone if you're relying on that to track your hike. But I've come to learn and understand that when you're out here, you can't rely on a single source to get around and navigate. You have to use different sources, different maps. Now I'm on this trail here, which is actually part of the Florida Trail. It's a wider multi-use trail in this section, but as you can see behind me here, part of the trail splits off and goes this way. It's more of a footpath. And this leads in a whole different direction. I want to maintain the course that I'm on now. Should be another trail up here that goes the other way I'm trying to go. So again, I was just here in this area maybe an hour ago actually, and it looks different because I came from the other direction. So I am going to have to check my map just to make sure that I'm on the right course here. So okay, cutting back onto the Florida Trail here. And I actually passed up this trail as I was walking through this section a little while ago. I meant to turn down this trail and head this direction, so I passed it up and ended up going a different area. Sometimes that happens. Nature has a way of guiding you too, taking you in places that it wants to show you. Sometimes it feels that way. So yeah, I wanted to mention that if you're walking on these trails and you have all these different directions where you can travel, it's easy to walk past the trail and miss that particular section that you were trying to get to or go. And that's how you end up getting off course. So it's always important to pay attention in these places. It's easy to let your mind wander off and get lost out here, and you start thinking about things. Before you know it, you're walking for miles. But it's good to be back on this trail because there's a lot of beautiful swamps right here. This forest road here, which is actually part of the trail, leads over the Withlacoochee River. Cross over this really nice bridge here.